Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I was lucky enough to chat with Valery Ortiz. She got her start as Jello back in Date Movie, but you may know her from Hit the Floor, where she played Raquel Saldana, or as Noelle on Switched at Birth. But soon you'll know her from the show we talk about today, the upcoming Disney series Gabby Duran and the Unsittables, where she plays Gabby's mom, Dina. The series premiered last week and has already been renewed for a season 2. We talk about what it feels like to have a season 2 already, the joy of working with young actors, and much more. It's a great conversation, and I hope you enjoy.
What's up, Les?
Hey, Valery. Thank you so much for making time today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you. How's it going?
It's going great. I was just told that Gabby Duran and the Unsittables got picked up for a season 2, and I was thinking, wow, how behind am I on my research? Did season 1 already happen? But no, you guys are, y'all are all set for 2 seasons of this. The trailer of it looks, if I were a kid right now, that show would be right up my alley. It looks funny and sci-fi and goofy. Just all the things that I know I would have at least watched a half hour of it after school at some point.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about going into the audition for it and where you kind of put yourself in terms of all right, I'm going in for a kid's show. How big do I go? How do I do this? Did you have any inkling that it was going to take off?
First of all, that's funny that you know the how big do I go, because, yeah, it's true. A lot of kids show like the acting is a little bit bigger. But no, so what's crazy is that when I got the audition, it was for a recurring role for the role of Dina, meaning that she's not a series regular. She'd pop in and out. And that was great. So no big deal. I went in and to be honest, I was like, I don't know, could I be a teenager's mom? So I didn't even think much about it. I didn't think I would get it, to be honest. And then it went well, and I didn't even get home when my agent called and said they wanted me to drive back to do a chemistry read with Kylie, which is our lead who plays Gabby. And I was like, okay, which is kind of strange for a first interview to just already be doing a chemistry read, because, I still had the sides in my hand and I was pretty much memorized. But by the time you're doing a chemistry read, you need to be 100%. At least that's how I feel comfortable. And I was like, oh, man. So I went in and she was adorable and a doll. Because we shot in Canada. And one of the questions that they asked me before I started the audition was what's your favorite Canadian sports team? And I was like, oh, great. I was like, well, I don't really know, but I love syrup. And they all started cracking up. So I think that's what got me the job.
Yeah. You just got to profess love for maple syrup immediately, and you're in with all the Canadians.
Right. Exactly. And then I didn't hear anything. And over the weekend, what happened is that the role turned into a series regular. And so that would mean I would have to relocate to Vancouver for 6 months. And for me, once they told me that, they're like, I don't know if, you would still want it. And I'm like, dude, look, if it's for me, it's for me. And that's kind of how I feel about everything. And then, yes, I got it. So it's like, I guess I'm moving to Canada. And here we are. But it was great. I mean, look, it's the first show, from what they've said to me, that Disney goes from the pilot, straight to series, which is kind of a big deal. And it's super witty, to be a Disney show. It's cute. And I actually really love aliens and things like that. So I was super into it.
That's great. Yeah, I know that you were born in Puerto Rico, grew up in Orlando, and you've lived in Southern California now for a decade or so, right?
15 years this month.
Wow.
I know. I was just talking to my parents about that.
So when it comes to pulling up roots and relocating, even knowing that there's an outside border to it, that all right, I'm going for 6 months, we're going to shoot for X amount of time, and then come home. What kind of prep do you do for that success? For wow, what if this goes really well and I have to go to Canada for 6 months? Is there Can you even have that in your head until it's sure? Can you go into auditions?
Honestly, I personally can't. Like, I can't even think that far ahead just because I'm a quintessential, like, planner and to-do list maker. So I'll overthink it and just be like, but what about this? And what about this? So I kind of have to let that go and let it be. The biggest challenge for me with going to Canada when we did was I don't do the cold. You know, I'm an island baby. I grew up in Florida. I've been living in LA for 15 years. Like, it gets like below 68 and I'm like, what is happening? So I had to buy a whole new wardrobe. I got like rain boots and I was just like, what is my life? I got an umbrella.
Do they even sell those in LA?
I Amazoned it to me, so I don't even know that. Yeah, so it was fun though, like to get that kind of experience away with like the weather and the seasons, and obviously be working. It was kind of like, this is amazing.
I know you've done roles. Well, you're maybe best known for Raquel Saldana on Hit the Floor, but your roles in the past have incorporated dance and physicality. Was comedy something that felt like a transition to you, or was getting to be comedic? Has that always been something that you've wanted to do with your acting?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, with Hit the Floor, it was more drama for sure. My very first role when I came to LA was spoofing Jennifer Lopez in Date Movie, and I was Jello. And so for me, that was just like, what? Like, my life was done. Like, I could have died that day and been okay. So that was kind of like the first taste that I got into, like, obviously, like, big physical comedy, and it was neat. Dina Duran, she's kind of like the straight man, though, like in Gabby Duran. You know, she's a single mom. She's a news reporter. That's why they moved from Miami to Havensburg. So they're kind of chasing her dreams and trying to keep her family afloat and trying to keep, you know, her oldest daughter, Gabby, focused and going to school and like not getting into any trouble. So she kind of gives a good balance of like, you know, that family life that I feel like kids and the parents will be able to relate to.
I had read somewhere that that when you were a kid, that your brother Hector it's partly responsible for you having the acting bug, and that y'all made mini movies and music videos and stuff. I know any of my friends, as soon as we figured out whoever's mom had a camcorder, I'm sure kids now, you know, for all the ills of social media, at least they've got access to cameras to make little movies in their backyards.
Sure.
What kind of stuff do you remember? Any in particular that you screened for your family when y'all were kids?
Oh my God, so many. Well, we did a bunch of like wannabe music videos. So of course, like any of the like Disney songs, like movies, especially like Aladdin was one of my favorite, and Lion King. But one of the things, and my brother is like low-key genius. Do you remember the movie Ghost Dad?
Yeah.
With Bill Cosby back in the day, or I think it was him.
Yep.
Anyway, we did like a rendition of that where he was skateboarding in the neighborhood and he fell and then he became a ghost, and he figured out like how to put like a glass in front of the camera to make, you know, the other subjects look see-through, except he did it backwards. So he looks normal and all of us, like me and my cousins, were see-through. So I was like, he had the right idea, but that turned out pretty awesome. Other than that little itty bitty detail, but we did all kinds of stuff like that. And my favorite part is that our family was always so game. Like he did this other one where he turned into a fly, and so the video is like him in the beginning, you know, about to turn into a fly. And I think he got that from like a ride in Disney, like the concept of it. And then the rest of the video is like my mom around the kitchen, like on the phone, like, I, you know, like, there's a fly, like swatting it with a little towel. And like, I just love that. Nobody was like, no, I don't know. Like everybody's like, all right. And like committed, like 100%. I laugh still because it's so endearing.
That's so great. That's so great. I'm imagining that somewhere, unbeknownst to you, there was a Disney exec that heard this and was like, "Oh yeah, we've got to cast her." She's got,
maybe that was it. I hope so.
She's got Disney in her DNA there.
Yeah.
With Gabby having just been already renewed for a second season and having real confidence behind it, where you have some maybe more security than you really can let yourself expect most of the time on a TV career. You're so not in control of the decisions that might pull the rug out from under you so often in your job.
Exactly.
When you found yourself going from audition to audition, you're getting home, you still got the sides in your hand, and you're thinking, you know what, I got to put this out of my mind, or you'll drive yourself nuts. How do you kind of put your tools down after auditions and just go, well, you know what, I did my best and it's out there?
It's not always easy. It depends. Like sometimes certain ones just you're like, oh, I really want to, sink my teeth into that role or get that opportunity. But honestly, after an audition, I usually call my mom or my manager, who I've been with for 15 years, talk about it, let it go, and do a workout or a hike, and then I'm good. And if you're staying busy too, like if you're getting a lot of auditions, and then it's you kind of don't even have time to think about that one. But I mean, I can't lie. Sometimes there's, a handful that you're just like, oh, the one that got away. But yeah, luckily this one worked out, and here we go, season 2.
And then the flip side of that, once you get a part and okay, now I can take those blocks out of my mind, and we can go ahead and commit to really, I can be this character. This is mine now. And then to have a second season extended out, what's been the most fun part of really getting into being Dina?
Working with these kids. The kids on the show are just incredibly talented, and they are so freaking funny. So to be able to experience this with a lot of them, this is their first TV series. So to be able to watch them grow from obviously season 1, and honestly just till the end of the season where we were filming the 20-something episode, like their growth, their sense of self, and sense of their characters and stuff like that. It's just so neat to be a part of. And I'm just a big fan of first in general. I just always tell people, soak it in. You're never going to get this first time, So I was just really in the moment with the kids. And now season 2 is going to be different. Cause like you said, it's we've been there, done that. So it'll be kind of neat to see where everybody starts the season with, and now, the kids are going to be even that much more confident. It's going to be a really cool experience, and I can't even wrap my head around what's going to happen to these children after this show. It's do you know that your world is going to change forever?
Right.
That's so exciting. I feel like a mom. I feel like their mom already.
Well, and I also wondered, I'm always curious how, as an actor, you show up to set, and even though it's not necessarily your job to run the tone of the set specifically, but you want to show up to your work and as quickly as possible bond with your coworkers and everybody be on the same page to make the same show. Was there anything special or anything you felt was particularly helpful that you did working with young actors and folks who were on their set for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, look, the other adult on the show who plays Principal Swift, Nathan Lovejoy, he's amazing, and I can't say enough great things about him. It was such a blessing to have him on the show because we were the 2 adults, and we kind of tag teamed with just bringing everybody under our wing and being, the adults who are okay, we're going to, like you said, set the tone and encourage the kids and give them those little reminders to soak it in and not stress because they're going from set to school to doing a test to going back to wardrobe to a fitting to a table read then back to set. They have a lot to fit in, but I feel like with his help it was kind of nice and super easy to do that and just kind of let it all flow. Everybody did amazing, so it wasn't even work, but it was a really cool experience to kind of see it all happen as it did. And I don't know, it's neat to see they all did such a great job,
Well, I can't wait I'm going to have to at least watch an episode of it. It's always fun to see a show that has a confidence behind it so that it's going to get a season 2. Not that...
There's a lot of really cool VFX, And there is like adult humor to her. If you have nieces or nephews or anything like that, or kids of your own, then yeah, they may enjoy it. I mean, I think they really will.
I think it's always the gold standard. Every friend of mine is always just looking for a show that has some level of something that they can watch that their kid can like. Please let there be a top note to this that I enjoy as well. And so yeah, watching the trailer, I was like, God, this could be really fun.
Yay! Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it definitely will be.
Well, thanks so much for talking to me about it, and have a great rest of your day.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.